On my solo self-driving trip from Bangalore to Ahmedabad in January 2024, I took a detour from my highway route into one rural place called Ter. I would not have known about this place at all if not for my friend Dinesh Soni, who is now a PhD in Indology. And he has done a lot of research in this place called Ter because it's close to his hometown of Latur. So Dinesh met me at Ter and we had a great time exploring a whole bunch of temples and archaeological things. So do watch this video. And one of the most exciting things about Ter is that the oldest standing temple in Maharashtra is in this town, and that was my main focal point. But before we go there, we see a few other temples.
In 19th century, one of the European came here. He came to Latur and then he started to find this place, search for this place. And from there he came to this village. And after that, even locals got to know that our place is so ancient. There is a book written by first century traveler from Egypt. He has written about this place. And the European who came here actually found reference of this place in that particular book. It was noted as Tagar in that book. So this place was called Tagar earlier. Now it's called Ter. So if you check the Garbhagriha from outside, you will see an upside kind of structure, plain and sloping structure. And over on the top of that, there is a shikhar. So this apsidal structure was actually part of the temple architecture in.
You're talking about this
say,
down
fourth
thing
century.
here?
Yeah,
this
yeah,
thing?
the sloping thing.
Yeah, I've never seen that. That's very
Yeah.
unusual.
Yeah, that is a apsidal structure that was very common in say 2nd or 3rd century.
Oh.
It was inspired by Buddhist stupa architecture, stupa and chaitya. So if you visit any chaitya, that has this apsidal kind of structure. So in Ajanta or Ellora or at Bhaje and Bears, you will notice that structure. The shikhar was probably built later on top of that earlier apsidal structure. So, and this used to be built with terracotta bricks. Terracotta bricks was a very common thing in 1st and 2nd century. Now we don't really see much of the brick construction of that strength.
Is it?
Yeah, this is Shiva temple. This was existed here from 2nd, probably 3rd or 4th century. This is Kaleshwar temple. In the same premises of this temple, Goroba Kaka temple was built later. So probably Goroba Kaka lived in this temple or maybe something similar. When I was a kid, I used to see many bricks here. Those bricks that were floating on the water.
Here? Like here?
Yeah, like in this temple complex, there were some bricks kept. Now they are not here anymore. But I have seen those bricks. They used
floated
to
on
float
water.
Yeah. So these were probably from the 4th or 5th century when these terracotta bricks was a very common thing. So there might be some remnants of this temple or some fallen pieces of this temple maybe. We don't witness many terracotta temples in this region. That is very common in West Bengal. So if you visit Bishnupur or other places there, or even in some parts of Jharkhand, there are a lot of terracotta temples. But in this region, we mostly see stone temples that started to be being built after, say, 7th or 8th century during Chalukya. It became a common thing, but it started from Rashtrakutas earlier than Chalukyas. But terracotta was the thing before that, and this being one of the earliest marketplaces or big marketplaces in that era. So there are some temples situated here. Those temples were not very famous in the earlier times, maybe say before 18th century. These were not very famous places, or even before 19th century.
Oh, there's another one. That's also terracotta, no?
No,
Looks similar.
yeah, it looks similar, but I'm not very sure if it's terracotta. It seems like cement structure.
And also the structure is so different. Like it's a very almost modern.
That is a typical Maratha architecture. So
Yeah.
a small but heighted and conical kind of shikhar with 4 different small shikhars around it.
And from down, it looks like a room only. It's completely square and
Yep.
straight walls.
Yes.
It's very typical.
So after Muslim invasions, there was not scope for building large temples. There was not money, not a lot of money, not a lot of time. So they used to bring this kind of structure after that invasions.
No, and probably also they wanted to, if they want to hide it, it's easier to hide something like this without the shikhar.
Very easy to
It
hide.
looks like a normal room or something.
There are in fact many temples that don't even have shikhar.
Exactly, yeah.
So that no one can find it
Yeah.
from outside.
Oh, this is what, a dhuni?
Yeah.
Oh, they have a dhuni, which is smoking also. That means, I don't know, is it alive dhuni? Some of these old temples end up having a dhuni which is ongoing.
Ongoing for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is such a one, but he's smoking right now.
Small near place or something.
Yeah. Let's look at this stuff. This is a shivling.
Yeah, this is the Veergal thing. Veergal क्या होता था कि whenever some Sardar or some influential person from the village would die in a war or by protecting others, so then they would build up a stone thing for in his
For them.
memory. So on the bottom part, you will see how he died.
Hmm.
So this guy is riding on a horse.
Hmm.
So it was probably a war. In the war, he died, and someone is killing him with a bhala kind of thing, spear kind of thing. Oh no, so actually this person is the influential person because he is bigger in height. So this Veergal is built is in his memory. Veergal is actually a Kannada word, Veeragalu. So it was later called Veergal in Marathi. This is a dance kind of structure. If you see here, it's a flat kind of hair gear. So we now see we pagdi. We see in many parts of Maharashtra, many different places. This is Sati Shiva.
Sati is a
was
lady.
Lady who died after her husband.
Oh.
Would jump into the fire.
Yeah.
And Shiva means rock.
Sheela is stone.
Rugged,
Yeah.
Stone. So this is kind of a Sati Shiva. On the bottom.
Is that like broken? It's broken, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's broken because this would usually be the architecture of Sati Shiva.
Oh.
And at the bottom there would be how her husband died. And at the top, the hand is a gesture that this is the Sati Shiva. That was a symbolic identification mark.
Oh, so hand means Sati.
Hand means
and down means husband died. What about the lady? Nothing.
Nothing about the lady.
Oh.
In Tamil Nadu, you will find at some places sculpture of that lady as well. There was one very weird way to die. What they would do, they would just tie a rope here, and the other end of the rope would be tied to a tree or something, and the branch of the tree would be bent down. They would tie it that like very tight, and they just slit their throat. So when the throat is slit, their head will just go away with the tree, so that there will be no chance of surviving of that person, and that would be kind of self killing. I won't call it suicide. It was a religious part, but that's how some of them prefer to die.
So there was an option to Sati. If you don't want to go in the fire, you could do this. Is that?
Yeah, maybe it varies with the geography. In Tamil Nadu, that tradition could be seen in the sculptures. We don't see many of those sculptures in this part of country.
Oh wow, that is so terrible. There is a Rani Sati folk deity temple over here. The larger one is in Junjunu of Rajasthan.
There are actually some folklores about Goroba Kaka, some stories. So Goroba Kaka was said to be a devotee of Vittal, and he was a Kumbhar by profession. Kumbhar is someone who builds
Pottery.
pots and brick things. So one day he was kind of mixing the soil. So for mixing soil, he has to just पैर से उसको दबाना पड़ता है soil को. And for a long time, like 3-4 hours, they have to mix it using their legs. So one day he was doing that thing, and he was busy in chanting Vittal's name. He was singing bhajans, and he did not notice that his small kid was playing
that
around.
Story is Goroba Kaka.
Yeah, that story is Goroba Kaka.
Oh.
So that child
came under his feet.
Came under his feet, and he died there.
Oh my God.
But then when his wife arrived and she started shouting, he said, "Nothing can happen to my child because Vittal is behind him." And after that, the child just got up from there and he started walking. So there are many stories associated with every saint, how God helped them in different ways. So for Goroba Kaka, there is this story.
Hi everyone. So yeah, hi Dinesh. So you've seen Dinesh before in one different video that I've recorded. He's a really old friend of mine, and he shifted to Latur. I didn't know when I'll meet him. Today we are meeting him in the most strange location actually. It's called a very tiny, currently it's a village called Ter, and it's close to Latur, so Dinesh came down to meet me.
Hi. It's really good to meet Priyanka after almost 16 years, maybe. I don't exactly remember.
Yeah.
Probably 2008 was the last time when I was in Mumbai that I used to meet. But after that, we are meeting for a long time. So it's really good to be meeting Priyanka after so long.
And he's telling me so much about Ter. I'm so happy. I don't think I would have known anything about this small village, which has so many things to explore over here. So this place, I've seen a lot of tamarind trees. The Tuljapur city was earlier called something else, but it was named after tamarind trees. But the funny thing is, I barely saw any tamarind trees in Tuljapur. But here there are many tamarind trees. Apparently, this region is all about tamarind trees. So there is not just a historical Hindu site. There are also Buddhist and Jain archaeological finds in the region. So here there is a Digambar Jain temple being built. So there was an older structure existing there, and they've taken some of those pieces and they've even created a small museum kind of thing. But they're also creating an actual temple here. As of now, it is in construction phase, kind of. There are no like eating facilities or staying facilities. Also, probably because there is not known as of now, so nobody really visits here. There was one manager who basically asked for a donation, and he was explaining something about this place, which they are calling as Atishay Kshetra. I'm a Shwetambar, so I don't know anything about it actually. I asked him about it, but I couldn't understand the story he was trying to tell. Maybe for Digambar Jains, there is something called Atishay Kshetra. I did search online and they said these are places where something magical has happened once the Tirthankar has visited it. So this is new.
Yeah, the bottom part is new. The top is earlier one. So they wanted some basement for that part.
Looks like one of those Balipitham things.
Balipitham. Okay.
Doesn't it look a little like that, like this?
Yeah, the basement they have created like that. Chabutara jo bolte hai.
As far as I know, Jains don't have Balipithams.
In India, Balipitham is also even in northern parts you won't find a lot of Balipitham. It's a Dravidian thing.
Ah.
So mostly in Dravidian temples you will find Balipitham, South Indian. In northern, in Gujarat or other parts, you used to have Chabutarats.
Oh,
so it was very similar concept, Chabutara.
Yeah, Chabutara we have in Gujarat a lot.
Yeah. So purpose was same.
Goa also, I think Goa has some similar.
Goa has a lot of similarities with Karnataka as well as in Maharashtra architecture. So Hoysalas had built some temples in Goa.
So these are, I guess, the older
ones, the fragments of the earlier temple.
So that will be Parshvanath probably because he has that snake hood.
Okay.
Which is our 23rd Tirthankar. They all Parshvanaths, they all have snake fin.
Even Neminath has a snake, right?
No, Neminath does not.
This one has a chhatra instead of snake.
Huh?
This one has a chhatra, not a snake.
Yeah, this is not a snake, so we cannot see. Usually they will have some symbol that we can identify by. But I can't see anything on it.
They have a flower at the chest.
No, that everyone will have. All the snake fans are usually Parshvanath only.
Okay.
This one is also different. So one big difference between a Shwetambar temple and Digambar temple is that if you see the eyes over here, they are like this only part of the murti. If you go to a Shwetambar temple, the eyes are those shiny glass eyes.
Okay.
Because that is a major point of difference. They say that God is omnipresent, so he can't see. But in Shwetambar, it's like, no, he's seeing like some.
Okay.
And the other big difference is in Shwetambar, we will be doing puja of the murti, which here they'll not do.
Okay, so what do Digambars do? In terms of
they have different kind of sadhana, but they don't do the puja. Shwetambars put a lot of weightage on puja where they actually put chandan all across all the body.
Okay.
So this was the reason I was most excited to visit Ter after Dinesh told me about it. But this temple is being reconstructed. But Dinesh assures me that this whole area and this specific temple is completely under ASI. So this reconstruction is happening by professional guidance, and so the main elements will remain intact. But he was saying it was a very beautiful temple, and now it's like this in reconstruction phase. I think it's still exciting for us to look at it in reconstruction phase. So one thing about it is the apsidal structure is what Dinesh is talking about, and the fact that it is the oldest standing temple in Maharashtra. Dinesh, tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. So this is a architecture called as Hasti Prushta in Sanskrit or apsidal in English. There are only two temples remaining in India now of this architecture. One is here in Ter, and the other one is in Chejarla in the nearby Guntur in Andhra Pradesh. So this structure is actually a confluence of the earlier Chaitya architecture that was very prominent in Buddhism, and the later standalone temples that started to be being built in Hinduism. So this is a confluence of both of these architectures.
So you are saying for like dome structure is common.
Yeah.
This is the between a dome and a conical
shikhar. There is no shikhar at this place. There is only the dome that is very similar to chaityas that were built in cave temples. So in Ajanta or Ellora, you will see these chaityas.
Achha.
So very similar to those chaityas. That this was the structure, and there used to be a square kind of structure that is like wherever you visit a temple, you will see mandapas. So Natya Mandap or Bhaya Mandap kind of thing. So there used to be a mandapa outside the dome. So that is where the confluence arises. Inside there is a Hindu idol. Many people used to claim that this is a Buddhist structure that was later converted to Hinduism, but we don't know very much about it as of now. There are no epigraphical or any other kind of evidence that suggests anything. But yeah, we can just walk in and I will explain the further things there. The steps are from there only. कर दे बेटा, कर देना, ले सकता है फोटो को.
So Dinesh was just telling us that the government has allocated some budget to develop Ter. This looks like a consequence of it. Oh look, it's so amazing, no? This structure.
Yeah. So these small hollow places, these are called as devulis. Devul is a Marathi word for temple, and there used to be smaller kind of shrines. So these used to be called as devulis. In devulis, there were small idols would be placed, small idols of any deity. So if you notice that the architecture, it's very plain from outside. That's how it used to be in 6th or 7th century. But later on, with the arrival of stone architectures, the temple started to be being built more articulately. There would be many sculptures and everything around. But in earlier times, these architectures were built using bricks. These are all terracotta structures. Terracotta is not very common to this region, but there is one place where terracotta was very commonly used. Even in Jain temple, when we earlier visited, they were talking about the bricks that used to float on the water. So that was the terracotta bricks that were being built in this area. Terracotta is usually built in the Gangetic regions where the soil is very much soft and I don't know what to call the small, very small particles. So they can stick well, very well, but they won't be very heavy because of the riverside sand. So even here we see a small river called Terna. There are theories that the the river used to be very big once upon a time. There was a lot of soil that used to come along with the river water. So probably with that sand they have built these bricks and everything.
These bricks?
Yeah, these bricks. Some of these are the ancient bricks, but a lot of structure has been rebuilt. A lot of bricks were built later. But if you go inside, I mean, just remove the side bricks, you will find that ancient bricks.
You were saying something about this door thing also?
Yeah, the door thing. Earlier during the Buddhism era, when maybe Satvahan era or the later Rashtrakuta era, there used to be there used to be a lot of cave temples mostly. And in the cave temple, if you visit the Bhaje caves near Lonavala, you will see wooden architecture inside the dome. So there are wooden shafts kind of thing. So earlier we used to have wooden temples, and this is the kind of wooden artwork that is done. This is very small, not that articulated one. There are not of not lot
Yeah,
of
yeah, there are some
carvings and
wooden
everything.
temples are very good carvings.
But if you visit Uttareshwar temple, that is very close by from here, you will see a lot of carving. The door is not now kept in that temple; it has been shifted to museum. But they had a door that was very beautiful. But this wooden architecture was very common in the early eras before 6th or 7th century. So the door used to be of wood. Even the roof you can see, it's made of wood only. And inside,
Cool, it's sunken inside.
yeah, inside the idol we see is of that of Trivikrama. Trivikrama was another name for Vishnu's avatar of the Vaman.
Vaman.
Trivikrama is another name for Vaman.
Okay.
Because in Vaman avatar, what Vishnu did, he asked for 3 feet of land.
Yeah.
To Mahabali, and then with 1 feet, you can just come inside, and I can show very clearly. Oh. Be careful. So here at the bottom of Vishnu's leg, you can see Bali, Mahabali. He was the king of Mahabalipuram. And when Vishnu asked him for 3 feet of land, he readily agreed. With first feet, he kept on the earth. First feet he had kept on the earth. Second feet, he raised towards the sky. And third feet, when he said, I have taken the whole of the earth and whole of the sky. Now there is nothing remaining for me. That's what Vamana said. So Mahabali said, my head is still remaining. You can keep your feet on my head. So there you can see Mahabali at the feet
standing there for the third.
Yeah, that's what he's offering his leg. And that's his queen. And there was one Purohit, his guru, he was standing next to him. So that's the whole thing. So you can see one leg here, one leg is stretched like that. You can see it at the end. The third leg is missing, third leg of the idol is missing. This idol is probably from a later era, probably from Chalukyan era, that was in the 9th or 10th century. So there might have been some other idol at this place, but this was kept later in Chalukya era. Some of the modifications were to the temple were also done in the Chalukya era. At the top also, you can see that there is no square kind of shikhar, square and conical shikhar that we usually see. There is an apsidal kind of structure slowly going upwards, and so small curvical surface. Hasti Prushta is basically the back of the elephant. Hasti is elephant, Prushta is backside. So this architecture looks like a standing elephant. So that's why it's called Hasti Prushta.
Hasti Prushta.
Yeah. So we can see even small temples outside the main shrine, small shrines. These are probably later day architecture additions, probably from the era of Marathas. So Peshwas used to build these kind of devolis or small structures outside the main temple. So maybe these are additions from that time. Here, one interesting concept. From the ancient temple, you see a tortoise here. Tortoise is usually associated with Lakshmi. So this might have been a temple dedicated to Shakti in some format. There is a possibility. We do not see any Vahan associated with Vishnu here. We do not see Garud neither in the inside of dome or nor outside. But we see a tortoise. So this may be a Shakti temple earlier, and the main idol was stolen, and later day kings put up another idol. So that is even a possibility.
Can we know whether any of these are terracotta?
There is no way to identify it actually. In fact, the technology is the same. It's even now we can call it terracotta because the technology of building bricks is the same.
But they're not floating on water.
They may not float now. Yeah. Earlier, see, the terracotta is how they are built. They get a lot of sand, they shape it the way they want, and they just like fry. No, not fry. They will heat it in a bhatti kind of thing, like we see tandoor in restaurants. So similar bigger tandoors, in that tandoor they would heat that structure of soil. So that's how the bricks were built.
New installation.
It is a new installation. The Garud seems to be later day addition during Maratha era.
So there is a Garud here, which connects with Vishnu and Trivikrama. This also looks like old, no? Like,
Yeah, this was the earlier entry route to this temple.
oh,
But probably they built a new route after this temple was.
this temple, the tree is very old.
Probably. People trees usually live for 300 to 400 years. So this could be somewhere between 100 years.
So I feel a lot of these old temples which are there, because of the trees and all, they will also retain some of the quality, because you know, the tree is anyway part of temple, no? Deified and
Yeah.
deified and also.
And one important part of having tree close to temple is they stop the erosion of the soil. So even outside soil will not come a lot in the temple, and that soil around the temple would not get what you say. The soil will remain as it is, so that gives stability to the temple structure. So it's very important for the stability of main structure. The locals did not know much about this temple until it was discovered. It was in a ruined state. The things you see now are also later day addition after independence. They are now rebuilding the whole thing. Them you can see here.
Hey, doesn't this look a little bit Greek?
Yeah, there would be a Greek influence. In fact, this town had a lot of trade with Greeks and Roman.
Because I can imagine a Greek structure like this, you know, those columns, and maybe the wall won't be there, just the columns and apsidal roof. It feels very Greek to me.
In fact, this place there had a lot of trade that used to happen with Greeks and Romans. During the excavations here, we had found many coins, many stamps of that era that are connected to Greek, even Greek coins. And we had also found some what you call pottery or all that are that have links with Greek. So definitely there will be some influence of Greek here. We can't deny that.
We only had time for this much on this day, as I had to head to Shirdi. But we did do a very quick visit to this museum called Ramalinga Palamture Museum. So know more about that in my upcoming video. Subscribe to my channel and you'll know when it's published.